Greetings to all Africans at home and abroad. This is King Echu of Southern Cameroon. This is King Echu of Ambazonia speaking. My reason for making this video today is because of what the president of Benin has done. The president of Benin has decided to withdraw its foreign currency reserves from France. And I'm here to encourage all the other 13 countries that speak French that were colonized by France to declare their withdrawal from the withdrawal of the foreign currencies from France. If Mali, if Niger, Ivory Coast, Togo, and Central Africa and the rest of other French African nation can do the same, then this will send an impact, a blow on France. We need more of the 14 nations that were colonized by France to speak up against France so that we will not have to be, our people will not have to be putting their money in France. Money that they control. How can a nation control 14 countries in Africa, control their currency? Why would we allow that? They literally bully, intimidate, terrorize us to succumb to their demands. France is a terrorist country that has terrorized us since they colonized French African nations. So it's time for us, all French African nation, the people, the citizens, to stand up, as we've been seeing in Togo, who are fighting against the president, but they've been killed. As we see in many other African nations who the citizens are speaking up against their leaders, because this is the trend that goes on in French African nations. So long as the president can do what France demand, then they can be in power for so long. So to cut off this epidemic that is happening in French African nations, we need to kick France out, and the people of French Africa must speak up. But I do know one thing. The president of French Cameroon, President Paul Biya, who has been in power for 37 years, and if you take a look at all these nations that are French-speaking Africans, the presidents have been there for so long because why? France supports them. So long as they support France, France supports them. But if we, the citizens of French African nations and of Africa, support these moves done by Benin, just like the EFF did in South Africa, is supporting the action that the president of Benin has taken against France for asking for their reserves. I mean, asking for the money that is input in French economy. All these 40 nations must do that. But as I said, one nation that will want to do that, because that nation is being bombarded with two wars as we speak. A war with Southern Cameroon and a war with Boko Haram in the north. So if Biya, President Paul Biya, who has been in power for 37 years, decides, which I know he can't do that, because if he does that, then he's done completely. France won't be able to back him up, and then now he'll be cornered to a point where they will have to put all the crimes that he has committed on his head, and he will have to pay for it. But the citizens of French Cameroon must speak up, because if you really want change, French Cameroon citizens, this is the time to rise. This is a time for, as it happened in Douala, where the people rose up with machetes. This is the time to do more, because change doesn't come easily. You must force the hand that is against you. We must force Biya and his government so that we can breathe and see change. But so long as we don't do that, French Cameroonians, I'm speaking to you, the citizens of French Cameroon, and to all French African nations, to all citizens of the French African nations in Africa. This is the time, this is the moment, with this strong movement that is going on to kick at France completely out of Africa. This is the time to support the leaders who are making bold moves. France is a wretched country. Without the French African nations, France will be nothing. But French African nations can be anything that they want to or dream to because of France. So if you want to dream big and go for it, this is the time to kick out France completely. This is the moment. French Cameroon citizen, I want you guys to do more if you really want change. If you really want change in Cameroon, this is the time. This is the moment. Because if you don't, another 37 years might just pass. By the time you're 60, 70, you'll be like, what's going on? How come I cannot improve? How come the lives of French Cameroons cannot improve? That's because you're being too coward. You're being too weak-minded. You're not mentally strong. You're not spiritually strong. But this is the time to think hard and go for your goal. We need to kick France out of Africa. We need to. France must go. And all that colonial pact that they force us, we must get rid of it. That's one way to improve Africa. And all the African nations must support the decision made by the president of Benin. It's time for France to go. We're sick and tired of their terrorism. We don't even want their military in the land of Africa. We want them completely out of Africa. Because independence comes when you have the opportunity to create something for yourself. But can we do that with French military on the ground? Can we do that with the fact that they're taking our money, controlling our resources? Can we do that? This is King H. Till next time.